Time out. I have to do it, otherwise I forget. You know how I am. When Rich was talking about it being a reward, it is. I mean, the dogs like to bite. If they didn't like to bite, they wouldn't be doing this. The dog wouldn't do it. Why would he do it if he doesn't like to do it? But you see, we've got a lot of control with the dogs, and it's just like martial arts or just like boxing. There's a time and a place to use that. You can't have a dog biting every time they want to because it feels good and they enjoy doing it. So just like all of you, I mean, there's rules of when you can use your martial arts or when you can box. You get in the ring, you can box people. You get outside the ring, sometimes you get arrested. So same thing with the dog. There's always rules when you can bite, when you can't. Yeah, they enjoy it, but there's a time and a place.
Yeah, and
is this the time?
Like we said earlier, at least 90% of the time, these dogs are not biting. When we bring them out of the car, just their presence, the bark, sometimes sending them up to the guy to have them, you know, hey, I mean business, not stop what you're doing. Actually, you know what? I'll show. She does the transport too, and we'll end on that bite. Follow.
She tries to keep up with it.
This is off. If I get stuck. If I get stuck in time out for her. If I get stuck in the park with a bad guy and it's just me and him, I can use the dog as a transport. She'll be my partner, and she does. We do officer aggression too. If somebody jumps on me, I can pop the door. I have this button here that pops the door, and she comes out, and in theory should help me, but we practiced that a few times. Sometimes she bites me, sometimes she bites me. But if I get stuck with somebody by myself, I can use her to transport. So we'll do that. Follow. So she's watching him. I told her to transport. She knows that if he tries to hurt me or if he tries to flee, her job is to stop that action. Close. That's it for her today.
Good job.
Told you she really likes it.
The biggest thing I don't like about her is I'm never sure whether it's going to be a leg or an arm.
Did somebody ask if she gets tired? Yeah. She is like a sprinter. Bach, who was here earlier, is kind of like a jogger. He never puts a lot of effort into it. He bites hard, but she works herself out just by watching him. And she'll be tired. If we were not to do any bite work and she were just to be here in a half hour, she'd be completely exhausted because she's so intense. Yeah. Follow. Any more questions?
What do you do when someone attacks the dog, sir?
What do I do when somebody attacks the dog? It depends on the situation and how close I am to the dog. It's not going to be a good day for the person who attacks my dog. Unfortunately, though, if somebody is trying to kill my dog, I cannot use lethal force to stop him. She's not. That's where the law, Master Azad talked about her being a police officer. That's where the line's drawn. At that point, she's not a police officer. She's still a dog. And if somebody's stabbing her, I can't shoot that person. So I'm going to close the distance pretty quick.
Would the person be prosecuted as killing a police officer if they did kill that dog?
No, it's a special law just for police dogs and police horses. It falls under the same law. It's still a felony, but no, it's not the same as killing one of us. Yes, ma'am.
So he's in the outfit, and she obviously recognizes the outfit because she's done the demo. If you put on the outfit, would she?
Absolutely, she would like it.
So she likes the outfit.
She likes the outfit, and that's a good question. The next step that we do in our training is she has a muzzle that we put on her. It's like a metal basket that's covered in leather, and we follow off, and we train with people outside of the outfit, and that's the. It teaches them not to focus on the equipment. just to
Right.
focus on the man. But that's the closest thing we have without, in this country, where we can have people getting bit. In other countries where the rules are a little more lax, you can get volunteers from, say, the prison.
Ah.
Say you want to, you want time off, you're willing to get bit by the dog, and then you can do that kind of thing. We
So-
have the Constitution here. It's kind of handy thing to have, and it keeps people from
Pesky thing.
getting volunteering.
So my next question is, we had a dog, this was years ago, who didn't like people wearing certain clothes. And so she had this recognition when you wore, and it could have been anybody, and it was something funky. It was like sweats and like shorts over your sweats, or it was something stupid. But anybody who wore that, she was really intent on, they didn't look right, she barked at them.
Did you have her from the time she was a puppy?
Yeah.
Something maybe when you were around or not around could have happened to that dog from somebody wearing that outfit. And dogs are creatures of habit, and they see, I was harmed by somebody in this situation, I'm not going to let it happen to me again. So anybody else that shows up,
That's
in
pretty
that,
cool.
a lot of dogs have a problem with males or females,
Right.
and it's because somebody of that gender caused them harm early on in life.
Well, do you see that in these dogs? Like they recognize a certain kind, like I guess they stereotype people. Do they do that?
Some dogs, some dogs have racial issues.
Yeah.
That's not taught to them. They just, some dogs have issues with people that wear helmets. I'm certain that in the winter, if she were to see somebody in a big puffy down jacket that, say, looked like the bite suit,
Be close enough,
it
yeah.
would key her up. Yeah, so,
Yeah.
yes.
You know, I spent a little over 20 years ago at Fred, and I had a lot of problem dogs. You come around the corner, guess what? You're on their property, yap it, and boy, they just. And a lot of my coworkers actually, and we had a rule, and they still do. Take the bite. Do not do anything to the dog. Set it up later. You can't carry mace like a postman. You mace the dog one time, you're done. You can't.
And that's probably good advice. I guess if you were in a situation where you knew you were going to be bit, you might want to offer an arm.
That's what they say. Take the bite when you set it up later. So, but dogs are on uniforms, or they don't forget.
Yeah, a lot of dogs don't like, and the reality is a lot of, and years ago, a lot of the mailmen would just pepper spray the dogs.
Too bad, plus years later.
Yeah, and that's what happened is you guys pay the price for it. But the reality is if you have a dog that's in an enclosed yard and they are protective, that's a good thing. It's not good for the guy who's trying to deliver boxes of mail and those kind of things.
And that's what the dogs can kind of stereotype, because a guy in the same uniform comes every day, they're trespassing on my property, and they're taking stuff away from my owner, and they're leaving with it.
Well, you know,
So I'm
just a
gonna
real
keep
quick
people coming to my
example, I
yard.
delivered one day to a lady, and I knew the lady, she'd moved across town, and she had a couple of dogs, and they knew me. And so I heard them barking, and I'm at the door, and I know when these things are coming, they're coming because they sense it. And she's opened, she says, don't worry about them, they're fine. So they come up and sniff, all of a sudden I felt bang, the one distracting, the other one caught me, and it broke the skin, and she, that's the first time you ever did that. I'm thinking, oh really?
That's the first thing that we learn in canine school is to always say that's the first time that's ever happened. My dog's never done that before.
Maybe she thinks that you guys.
And we say that every time it happens.
Do you think a dog can break through a door if a person closes it?
We teach our dogs to push through doors, but obviously she's about a 65-pound dog. She's not going to knock a door down. But if a door was somewhat ajar, we teach them to push through. But we don't have a dog yet that can knock a door down, which is kind of good because I have to keep her somewhere when I'm sleeping.
why don't
So
you
I
want
break
those?
the door down to get to the FedEx guy. Yeah.
So, does your dog live with you in your house?
Yep, the dogs do. All the canines in this county come home with their handlers, and they live with us. I have 2 kids. She's great with my kids. I have one son that's kind of a knucklehead and likes to wrestle with her, and he's been nipped a few times, but nothing that he hasn't created himself. Too much. She was about a $9,000 dog, and then by the time we go to training, which is down in Riverside, and we stay in a hotel, it's a lot of money.